Alright, I'm going to show you how I like to set up my power eggs for stocked trout. It's one of the most effective things that I've found in catching, and we're going to use these power bait power eggs, garlic scent. We're almost out of them, so we've caught a lot of fish on them and used them a lot. I'm going to show you how I rig these up. So these are a bunch of little mosquito hooks, different sizes. I'm going to go for the size 8, something a little bit smaller that's going to be easier to float, and will require only probably 2 of the power eggs to get it to float. So it's just a little size 8 mosquito hook, and we are going to tie that on. So let's go right through. There we go. And let's do a basic fisherman's knot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoops, just let go. So I don't know where I am, but I'll do a couple more just in case. And grab that end, put it through the original hole, and whoops, here we go. And then pull it tight. Before we cinch it all the way tight, we're going to lick it a little bit to get some water on it to remove the friction so that that line doesn't get weak or easily cut. And now it's all tightened down. Alright, so we've got our number 8 size mosquito hook, the fisherman's knot, on 4-pound monofilament. And that's nice and light so it doesn't really spook the trout. And then we're going to go ahead and put on 2 of these little power eggs. So they come in a thing, can kind of separate them like that. And I will hook them, bring it up, and then hook the other one and kind of let it sit right in there, right above the hook. That's really all you got to do. Sometimes I'll put 3 on there to kind of cover the hook a little bit more. I separated them in this case so they look a little bit more appealing, and that should allow it to float. So what you want this thing to do is to float right above in the strike zone for these trout, and we'll do a split shot to keep it down, and so we can decide how high up above the ground we want it to float. So we'll put a little weight on here, and we can slide that weight around depending on whether they're biting or not. Let's see, what do we have in here? All kinds of different weights. This one should do it. And looks pretty beat up because we've used it before. So we're gonna start off maybe just a foot away. Give it a good 12 inches or so. Put that on there. And tighten that up so it doesn't move. It doesn't fall off when we cast. Alright, and now we have this little setup where we have a mosquito hook with power eggs. About a foot away we have a split shot weight, and that will keep that down, and then this bait will just float about a foot off the ground. So let's cast that into the water and see what happens. And what we're going to do is just a nice slow retrieve. You could just let it sit out there and wait. We're just going to bring it in real slow. Let it fall. Bring it in a little bit. Because as you bring it forward, it kind of straightens out, and then you want it to stop and float right back up in the strike zone. So we're kind of moving this around a little bit so it's not just dead and then we don't get bored. As I was bringing that one back, I noticed that the hook is having trouble floating actually, so I'm going to give it one more power egg because these guys float, and that'll keep it up in the right spot. Plus this hook is big enough to hold another one and kind of cover that hook a little bit and hide it. There we go. So we're going to try with this now. So you can see now that that is floating under there. There's a weight. I'm holding the weight above, and you can see that it's floating. So when I drop this weight down, it goes down. So that's a good setup. All right, it looks like we have struck out on this side of the lake. There is nothing biting and haven't had any action. So we're gonna go down to the other end of the lake where the sun is not in our face and see how they're doing down there.